Alright guys, so I've been playing the Diablo 4 early access beta most of the weekend, and boy oh boy do I got a ton of stuff to talk about with this game. However, I want to be clear and upfront. This video is not going to discuss the monetization or the battle pass. I just want to cover my first impressions with the beta and some concerns I do have about the future of this game. I did play through the first act as a barbarian. I completed the first act. I've done a ton of side quests. I've taken on the world boss. So I put some hours into it over the weekend. Unfortunately, not as much as I wanted to. I really didn't get a deep dive into the other two classes. So this is just from someone who came in playing as the barbarian and having fun with it. Now, before we take a deep dive into the world of Sanctuary, I do want to take a brief moment and welcome anyone new to the channel. If you are new, please consider subscribing. I got a ton of stuff in the works that I would love to share with you all. Also, if you do happen to enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like. But anyways guys, we got a lot to get into, so without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm gonna start this off by talking about the open world aspect of the game. And the open world in this game feels more like an MMO than an open world action RPG. So honestly, for all you guys looking for the next big ARPG, this might not be it for you, or you better go in with different expectations than you normally do. And for all you solo self-found players, I got bad news for you because I don't think this game is going to give you the experience you normally want from this genre. In fact, in the open areas, you could run across players all the time. It is not instanced. And as soon as you get near them, the game even gives you an experience buff for just being near another player. And if you do decide to party up, you get even a bigger experience buff. It's very clear this game is going to want to support group play, especially in open areas. In fact, I bet there will be times large groups of players kind of just team up and wreck entire sections of the map. After all, if you don't actually have to be in a party, but you still get experience for just hitting the mod and you still get loot, then why wouldn't groups of 12 players just get in a Discord chat, be in the same clan, and steamroll world events and any mobs that get in their way? Plus, you'll never outlevel a zone because the game scales the monsters to your character level. It almost looked like they took adventure mode from Diablo 3 but put it in the regular campaign mode in Diablo 4. And I honestly am not a fan of this. Plus, seeing your character progress in power is one of the main appeals of these type of games. And unfortunately, at least so far in the beta, while my character was getting stronger, it was sometimes hard to notice because the world just leveled up with me. So why this is like, I like this at endgame where I could go back to any area and get experience or loot. In the leveling process, especially playing through the story mode, I'm really not a fan of this system, and I'm hoping this is something they address before release. Although I kind of doubt it because I don't know how easily it would be to rebalance the whole game and change it at this point. Now, not only do I have issues with the dynamic leveling system this game has, the overall world, while having incredible, amazing landscapes, feels like something from an MMO instead of an action RPG. The mob density in some areas is just so low. It honestly feels like I was playing Lost Ark or World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2 more than an action RPG. Imagine that you just open a rift or a map in PoE or a rift in Diablo 3 and you got super unlucky with the worst mob density you could imagine, and then just make an open world with that mob density, and this is how the Diablo 4 open world feels like. This world feels like it's more of a balanced MMO instead of a single player or small group experience we've come to expect from other ARPGs. Honestly, this gave me a lot of Guild Wars 2 vibes with the world objectives, the world boss encounters, plus you see the circles on the map of where the objectives taking place, and when you go into it, you kind of automatically team up with anyone around. Like I said, the open world area definitely is more of that MMO vibe instead of an action RPG. Plus you even gather materials for crafting purposes. You harvest from nodes like iron or rocks, and you even like pick up plant parts that you use to craft different potions in the game. Now, does picking up materials from rock and plants sound like an action RPG thing, or does it sound like something you would do in World of Warcraft? I'm not saying this is bad, but it's definitely a different approach that a lot of us fans of the genre may be used to. But enough about that. Let's move on from that area and talk about the dungeons and the instance areas of the game. And those I actually really did enjoy. In fact, it's funny because the open world has been a major marketing piece and selling point of the game. And in my opinion, it's the weaker of the two areas between the open areas and the solo instance areas. Plus the boss fights in these dungeons were a ton of fun. Actually having to pay attention to boss mechanics and movesets and trying to dodge out of the way was a total blast. I hope this stays in the game. Challenging bosses that make you actually have to think and react and learn their patterns is something I greatly enjoyed. I know the game is new and players may figure out ways to kill the bosses in mere seconds. However, I really hope Blizzard does what it can to prevent that from happening. The boss fights is honestly the most fun I've had in the beta, and I prefer these boss fights and actually having a challenging boss than just going into a map and killing the boss in 3 seconds. So who cares what the boss mechanics are, because they just die in mere seconds. All right, so let's move on from the open world. Let's move on from the instance areas, and let's talk about one of the main reasons we all love these type of games. And that of course is the loot. And unfortunately for this game, at least in the early game, doesn't seem to really deliver any unique or great loot at all. Yes, I know it's just Act 1 and I know it's just a beta, but let's be honest, the prefaces and affixes on all the gear I found was very tame. And unfortunately, the only things that was somewhat interesting are the unique powers on legendary gear. And even that's not that good. I mean, where is the stats like crushing blow, open wounds, knockback, freeze on target, chance to cast on hit, chance to cast on taking damage? There was none of that in this game. Maybe it gets better later on. However, I can only judge it by what I've seen so far. Overall, it feels very basic. And I hope this improves, but I kinda doubt it. I don't think we'll have many build defining weapons or armor pieces in this game, which really sucks, because let's be honest, gear is one of the most important things in a looting game, and this game is just kinda generic. It's not the worst I've ever seen, and it's passable, but it's nowhere near as good as it could be. And I found quite a few legendaries or uniques, whatever they're called, in the beta, and the only thing you care about is the legendary power and some of the stats, but you only take a quick glance at it and you could instantly know how good it's going to be. Whereas in other action RPGs, some of those pieces you find look weak at first until you realize you can make an entire build around that piece of gear and it changes the game completely. Heck, even at launch, Diablo 2 had items like Ice Blink. And I know that item's been nerfed now, but at the time at launch, that low level unique was incredible. Freezing targets on hits was just a game changer. I don't think we're gonna get any pieces like that in Diablo 4, which is really unfortunate. So I do have one more thing I want to address in the video, and that is the story element so far in Act 1. I saved this for last in case you guys don't want anything spoiled for you. You could click off the video now. After all, I honestly hate it when people just start discussing spoilers in their videos without any warning. So if you do intend to go in completely blind, at least for the story part of the game, now would be a good time to click off the video. If you are clicking off, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. For everyone else sticking around, let's get into this. So first thing, the trailer with Lilith, she seems so menacing and very frightening in that trailer. I was really excited about her in this game. However, when you actually see her in game, she feels more like a Disney villain instead of the menacing person the trailer made her out to be. She talks so much and is basically another chatterbox, kind of like how Diablo was in Diablo 3. She reminds me more of Maleficent from Disney, more so than she would be the person that I would call the daughter of hatred. I mean, in this case, the apple has definitely fallen far from the tree. I mean, Mephisto seemed way more frightening in Diablo 2 than Lilith does so far in Diablo 4. And he wasn't even the main boss of the game. He was just the guy you fought at the end of Act 3. That being said, I still want to point out, I think the actual boss fight with Lilith, if you do actually fight her, is going to be really good. Like I said, I'm very impressed with the boss fights in this game. However, from a plot standpoint and seeing her in cutscenes, she's very Even the Archangel Inarius doesn't seem impressive. I mean, these two are the reason that Sanctuary even exists. There is so much that they could do with these characters, and unfortunately, my first impression of both of them just fell completely flat. Plus, it's not even these two. We finally are getting Rothma in the game, the son of Lilith and Inarius, one of the firstborn of the Nephilim, and they just kill him off screen. That is right, they finally bring in the first necromancer to the games, and instead of doing something interesting with this character, they kill him off screen. We don't even get a cool Blizzard cinematic trailer where they show how he dies. We just get a CGI trailer of Lilith finding his dead body. Like, what type of weak sauce is this? At least show us one of those high quality Blizzard cinematics of Inarius stabbing Rothma with the spear. This honestly felt like a complete slap in the face to me as a huge fan of Diablo lore. They could have done so much more with this. That being said, I know it's only Act 1, there's a lot more to come, so we'll just have to wait and see, but it just sucks that my overall impressions of the plot fell completely flat, especially around these three main characters of Diablo lore. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts about the game. Like I said, it's not the worst game in the world. I don't hate it. I actually have fun playing it. I do wish there was improvements to the loot and stuff like that. Maybe there will be at endgame or in later acts. We'll just have to wait and see. But I definitely want to hear what you guys think. Did you have fun with the beta? Did you enjoy your time with it? If you didn't play the beta and you watched some streams, like, what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below of things you liked or disliked, and let's just have a conversation about it. Overall, I did have fun with it. It's not a terrible game. I think it's going to be a blast to play in the future if they do the monetization right. If they screw that up and it's pay to win, it's going to be dead on arrival, at least for me. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. As for me, I got a ton of work to do, so I'm going to get back to the grind, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.